You could feel the weight of Sunday night before the whistle blew. A Pittsburgh team that had spent the week asking for answers, a spotlight game that turned into a reminder of how fragile momentum is in this league. Aaron Rodgers didn't have his best stuff against the Chargers. Sacks, a safety, 2 interceptions, and the offense sputtered. But buried in the aftermath was another story, quieter but no less important. The Steelers activated rookie quarterback Will Howard, a sixth-round pick who'd been sidelined with an injury since training camp. That move matters. Here's why. Pittsburgh didn't lose this game because of one roster decision. They lost because their offense stalled at the worst times, protection broke down, and the Chargers schemed them into a mess. But football is a season sport, not a moment sport. The way teams survive turbulence isn't by praying for one miracle play. It's by building depth, by creating options, and by making sure the roster doesn't collapse if a starter falters. Activating Will Howard is a small, practical step toward that stability. Howard's path to this sideline was classic late-round grit, a solid college career at Kansas State, then a transfer to Ohio State where he grabbed headlines and pressure in equal measure. A player who knows how to carry expectations and get better under them. He didn't arrive as a finished product. He arrived as a project with upside and a temperament that reportedly loves practice more than praise. That matters in a room with Rodgers. Learning from an all-time great, watching his footwork and cadence, gleaning the tiny habits that add up to NFL polish. What does Howard give the Steelers right now? Primarily, he gives insurance. Rodgers is the starter and Mason Rudolph the primary backup, but NFL seasons bend and break. Injuries happen, performance dips, and sometimes a change is simply the strongest medicine for a team's confidence. Adding Howard to the 53 means the Steelers can breathe a bit easier. They have another arm in the building, another set of eyes in meetings, and another body who can take meaningful reps in practice without overtaxing the veterans. From a schematic standpoint, Howard's presence opens up subtle coaching choices. He's younger, more mobile than a prototypical pocket veteran, and that can tilt practice scripts. The play-calling staff can test simplified shotgun reads or quick game packages without burning the developmental clock. It also gives Rodgers value beyond Sunday execution. He becomes a mentor, his practice reps better spent in high-leverage moments with a true pupil on the roster, rather than risking wear and tear with lesser reps. There's also a psychological ripple to consider. Activating a rookie can send quiet messages in the building. Accountability matters, and the team is preparing for all outcomes. For a locker room that has tasted both hope and frustration this season, that clarity matters. If players see the front office proactively adding depth, it reduces the "do we have a chance" whispers that can metastasize into self-fulfilling slumps. But don't mistake roster longevity for an instant solution. Howard's activation is not a vote of no confidence in Rodgers. Rodgers remains the starter, and he's been clear he'll take responsibility for better play, nor is it an admission that Mason Rudolph can't handle the backup duties. It's a pragmatic recognition that NFL seasons demand options. Howard is a developmental piece more than a plug-and-play fix. Expect the Steelers to be careful with his reps in game. Expect them to sit him unless injury or utter urgency calls. There are risks to this move too. Rookies learn by playing, and if Howard's path to the field is littered with half measures, limited reps, few practice reps, no game exposure, his growth could be stunted. The Steelers need a plan. Meaningful scout team reps to simulate next week opponents, targeted development sessions with quarterback's coach, and a clear script if he's thrust onto the field. Otherwise, he's little more than a name on the roster. A comfort now, a missed investment later. For Rodgers, the arrival of another eager young quarterback can be reframing rather than threatening. Mentors often find that teaching clarifies their own craft. Explaining reads aloud, correcting footwork, and taking younger QBs through film sessions forces veterans to revisit fundamentals, and sometimes the act of teaching smooths the rough edges of an aging game. Rodgers has the experience and the football mind to make Howard's presence beneficial to everyone in the room, if he chooses to lean into that role. It's also worth noting the optics around Will Howard's story. The NFL loves comeback narratives and unexpected rookies. A sixth-rounder activated after an injury who then flashes in a late-season cameo, that's ticket-selling stuff. The Steelers are not doing this for PR, but the human element is real. Players like Howard energize practice, bring competition, and remind everyone that opportunity is always one snap away. Let's break down practical next steps for Pittsburgh. First, the coaching staff must integrate Howard into the game plan in training camp style increments. First, as a scout team QB replicating upcoming opponents, then as a scripted back in on mop up plays, then, if he earns it, as a situational change of pace. Second, they must protect him physically. Don't throw him to the wolves in a high leverage moment before he's ready. Third, film work. Howard needs quarterback room time with Rodgers and the quarterback's coach to internalize protections and route concepts. The best rookie activations aren't accidental, they're planned. How does this decision fit the franchise's longer arc? The Steelers have shed decades of conservative roster building in recent years. Bringing in someone like Howard signals a hybrid approach, still committed to winning now with veterans like Rodgers, but finally building a bridge to the future. It's patience with urgency, an acknowledgement that you don't have to choose between veteran leadership and developmental depth. Finally, what should fans expect? Don't expect a game-changing debut immediately. Expect a slow burn, flashes in practice, a preseason-style performance in a regular season cameo if the game script allows, and steady incremental growth. If Rodgers finds form and the offensive line shores up protection, Howard might not see the field this season. But if Pittsburgh's offensive struggles persist, or if injury crops up, the staff now has a prepared rookie ready to step in. The simplest truth is this: good teams plan for contingencies. Activating Will Howard isn't flashy. It's not a headline-grabbing trade. It's an organizational move that says Pittsburgh is thinking ahead. In a season where quarterback health and depth have decided more games than coaching genius, that kind of forward thinking can be the difference between floundering in December and salvaging a season in January. Close your eyes and picture it. A quiet practice field, Howard taking reps, Rodgers watching, coaches scribbling notes, no fanfare, no ticker tape, just preparation. That's the sort of small, steady work that wins football seasons. The Chargers exposed problems on Sunday night. The activation of Will Howard is one small answer to them. It won't fix everything. But in the NFL, small answers add up fast. You remember that feeling when a team looks like it's run out of excuses and all it has left are stories? The Steelers gave us one of those on Sunday, a night where Aaron Rodgers looked human, the offense sputtered, and the scoreboard read 25-10 in favor of the Chargers. Then, in the quiet aftermath of a primetime dud, the front office quietly did something that feels small and maybe inconsequential, and maybe